Hello, my name is host Derek, and I'm the host of Talking with Fitness People, and today we're going to be talking about the Enneagram tri-type and what tri-type are you. This is going to be a short video in which I help you figure out what tri-type you are in a very simple and straightforward fashion. In order to know your tri-type, you have to answer 3 questions. In each of these questions, you're asked to pick between 3 options. Okay? So in the first question, it asks you to respond to tell how you respond to conflict or disagreement. Do you tend to get into the fray of the conflict? Do you tend to try to make peace, try to smooth things over, eliminate the conflict? Or do you try to avoid the conflict or get away from the conflict in general? Now, nobody's going to have a 100% one answer all the time, but at your sort of reflexive gut level, which of those do you prefer? Do you prefer to get into the mix of a conflict or a disagreement? Do you prefer to try to smooth things over so that everybody stops fighting? Or do you try to avoid that conflict? All right, so that's the first question. If you prefer to get into the fray, you're going to give yourself the number 8. If you prefer to smooth things over, you give yourself the number 9. And if you prefer to avoid the conflict entirely, you give yourself the number 1. In the second choice, you're choosing again between 3 options. You're choosing between this relates to where do you get your self-esteem from? What makes you feel like you are okay in the eyes of others, that others like you or respect you or love you or care for you or whatever? So the answer is going to be either you consider yourself helpful, that is to say, you know that other people can value you because you're helpful to them. Or you're an achiever, you're a high achiever. In other words, you show other people that you're of value by achieving a lot. Or lastly, you're an individualist, a rebel, and you go, I show people I have value because I stand in reaction to or in response to, negate. Whichever of those 3 is most like you, that's the one you're going to choose. If it's the helper, that's number 2. If it's the achiever, that's number 3, and if it's the rebel, it's number 4. Now for the last number. So now you've got either an 8, 9, or a 1, and you've got a 2, 3, or 4. The last number you're going to have is going to be either a 5, 6, or a 7. Now this asks, how do you deal with fear? How do you deal with the realization that you and your loved ones are all going to die? How do you deal with the inevitable uncertainty that comes with having somebody precious to you and knowing that they could be ripped away from you at any moment? And the answer is going to be one of 3 things. It's either going to be you think about it and try to understand the system perfectly so that it can't catch you off guard like that, so that it can't you don't have to face the terror uninformed, unaware. You've got it out, so it's not so frightening. That's one option. So that's a 5. And the second option, you may choose to make sure your nest is perfect. You either escape into fiction and TV, you're escapist basically, and or nesty. So if you like to make sure that the Halloween decorations are up and your family is cared for and blah 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 blah, then you're going to be a 6. And lastly, if in order to get away from the fear, you play the day away. You just go like, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to keep playing over here. I'm going to keep drinking these beers. I'm going to keep going to the party. I'm going to keep whatever. If that's you, then you're a 7. So again, thinker 5, nester 6, or basically defense, set up your defensive system 6, or 7, play the day away. Now that you know your tri-type, you should have it in 3 numbers, and you're going to ask yourself, of those 3 questions, which one was I most certain about? And that'll be your first tri-type number. Of these 3 questions, which one was I second most certain about? That'll be your second number, and your third number will be the other number. So once you know your tri-type, then perhaps you can reference some of the other videos, one of the other videos that is about your tri-type, and I'll explain it and I'll describe it shortly. I'm going to try to start making those. There's 27 videos coming up. Why not?